Alright, let's see. Let's see if the audio's any better this time. Let me know. Take two, we'll see. Oh, good. Okay. I just moved the camera around, unplugged, shut everything back off, and turned it back on again. So, I'm wondering if it's the boom that the mic's on. So I might need to upgrade that. Alright. Good, good, good. Hey in the butt. All right. All right, we're going to re-record this. Hey, everyone, thank you for popping into a Thursday. No, not Thursday. Friday overtime edition of last night. Yeah, I sound like a stormtrooper. So we are doing overtime. We're going to finish up the painting we did on Thursday night that we started up. This guy here, this is exactly where we left off. I haven't touched anything on this panel at all. So I figure, what the heck? And we're back loud and clear. Awesome. Thank you for popping it in. Let me know. Yeah, man, it's unfortunate when it does that, and there's no real good way for me to test it live to be able to, like, fix it. Because it's live. You know, once everything's set up ahead of time, and I can run all the tests, it sounds great, and then it just happens. Yes, I am recording. Question, do you have any place to send pictures of my work? You can send them to my Facebook page, but I tell people this one thing. I'm either going to say, cool, good job, or do you want a fully brutal, honest answer? And I don't say that jokingly because I learned this from a few artists that I did this with, and the ones that are brutally honest, I got the best feedback from, but it could be harsh. So you can send it to my Facebook if you want, or ask me very specific, like what can I do to improve X, and I'll just tell you that. I don't cut people down, but I'll tell you where you're doing it right and where you're doing it wrong, and some people are great with it, some people really have a problem with it, so, you know, and it just is what it is, but I feel, you know, I'm going to give you this compliment sandwich. I'm going to tell you what you're doing good and what you're going to do bad, because all of us do things that are not great. I do the same thing, so, and criticism is good, but I'm not an asshole about it, so. Yeah, you can go to my Facebook page and message me there. Yeah, so let me tell you where I'm at here, what we're doing. Let me switch over. Thank you for anyone who's not usually here, who's coming on for the first couple times, and me doing this during the day is something new. I want to start doing some more of this during the day, and just some different times. I got some things planned. I am planning on doing some tabletop work for the like tabletop miniature, like Warhammer and D&D gaming figures. I'm going to be working on some of that stuff. I'm also setting up a Patreon page. We're going to start getting that worked up. And that's going to be more for integration of Airbrush and like some of the technology like Adobe Illustrator and how-tos and things like that. I'm just trying to figure out the levels and like the tiers and how we can do it. So stay tuned for all that is working. So let me show you what I got here. This I left exactly where it was last night. This was the same paint in the cup last night. I taped it overnight. We're going to give it a good shake. And just get right back to it. Why didn't I clean my brush out last night and store the paint? The paint would have probably been bad because I would have taken it out of here, put it into a cup. Or I'd have to put it back into a bottle, which you should never put it back into a bottle. And as long as there was enough paint in here, like this was over half, it's not going to dry. Because I capped the air off, so it's just like putting it back in a bottle. The only thing you got to be careful sometimes if you have dry paint on the end here, you'll get you can get a little tip dry on it. So sometimes before I get started, we'll pop the body cap off, the air cap off, and just make sure the needle's all cleaned. Put it back in and get going. All right, so where was I last night? Last night I got to this stage, which is I'd say it's 75% there. And now I'm just going to finish off. So I'm going to stick with this color. Good time for us in the Southern family. Yeah, man, that's kind of what I wanted to do too, because I want to start getting some of the UK guys and some people from other hemispheres where they can kind of come in live too, because I know when I do it 8 o'clock at night, You know, there's a whole big chunk of the world which are fans and friends and followers, and I appreciate you all that can't come on and see it, and you're always catching the recap. So this, I think, would be a good time. And then maybe I'll start doing more in the future. Like, if I don't finish a project on the Thursday feed, we'll go into overtime on the... there was a bid on this. It's already spoken for. So I let the bids go max last night. So this is going to Gary. And so we're not taking any more bids on this. I didn't want to get it confused during the day and then have... I didn't want to have the guys last night might not be in the room today when we were taking bids again and like either lose out or feel like I kind of let them off last night. So I just figured we'd cap it last night. So I'm good with it. And but there's always super chats. There's always a way to say thanks. There's always ways to do that. You can always go to the store, which you guys can see that little store link now. Depending where you're watching, that's got swag. Well, not swag, but merch and all the stuff that you guys can help support the channel. I think, Steve, you were the first one to buy a product. I think you went on last night. And there's a lot more merch coming, including some of my old school stuff from the Thin Air Graphics gear. And I might bring like my retro, which was like my early day graphics, back up into that and do some, just a couple shirts. So, and I'm going to go from there. All right, so this is the same color, which is that Bordeaux. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to keep hitting that one, and then I'm going to add the darker color into this and darken it up and just really build contrast. It's really what this is about here, is working that contrast up and just balancing the piece overall. Adding some texture. So we can go in here and add a little bit of texture to like the eye sockets and things like that with a little detail. Gerald Mendez. Texture effects. And today we're going to do an early day out. I'm taking my daughter to the movies. I'm going to go see Transformers this afternoon. That'll be fun. But like last night I said, these projects are great. If you got questions and stuff, feel free to ask about anything, because I'm not doing something super technical. I can usually take a quick peek and basically let you guys just pick my brain a little bit. We can kind of use this as a overtime Q&A session. Sound still going good? Okay, so I'm going to add my darker color, which is the Bordeaux mixed with black, into this and get a darker tone. Yeah, sounds good. Awesome. Thank you, Michael. How's things going, sir? So basically, I'm just taking that color, and now we're making it darker. See? And this whole thing is done with the Eclipse. So you'll see immediately how fast it goes dark. But the key here is I only want to be working over areas I've already painted, because it's such a dark color. If I go over the pure red, it's going to really be dark. It's going to just look kind of wrong. I'm going to put an eyeball in here. There we go. Like, I mean, I can go over it, just it's going to be a slightly different tone. I don't want to do a ton of it. I don't want to be really recreating. I really want to be like chiseling out what I've already established. This is kind of the way when you're doing like fire and things like that, and you know, real fire, true fire, like Mike did, was you want to be working within what you've already laid down. So if you're on a black motorcycle, a black surface, you know, and you've already put your red, orange, now you're into your yellows. You don't want to be putting yellows over the black. You want to be putting yellows over the reds and oranges now, because you want to kind of step inside. This is kind of the same process here. And this is basically balancing out the project, getting your max contrast, your darkest darks. You got work at the moment. Well, I'm glad you are working hard. You know what? Needs an eye here. I'm going to take Pocket Graphics. We'll give him a little pupil, a little iris in the middle, and then a pupil right inside that. Just like that, you have an eye. And all of these are going to be cleared next week with a bunch of other things. So those waiting on panels, they'll be coming. You can enhance some core shadows here and there as well. And really, so you just see how much I'm pushing this area around by making it darker, bringing out those details that we kind of sketched in place earlier. Anyone here in New England who's going for Bike Week, have an awesome time next week. I'm going to try to pop it up there for an afternoon for the 100th Laconia. We'll see what happens. Over. Yeah, Michael, which one do you have? You have the octopus one that's got to go to you? Is that the one that's going to you? Off the top of my head, I'm forgetting everything lately. Getting old. Yeah, that's what I thought, yeah. Thank you for your patience, sir. Yeah, you're probably up there. You've been buying them for a while. This paint is detail flowing just right. And I could do daggers and rat tails forever. So just look at this. Yeah, we'll zoom in. And this is just your standard eclipse. No problem. Here, we'll do a little teeny skull. Like a Leahy-sized skull. I'm out of practice. Yeah, we'll try that. See? You don't need a micron for little lines. You get that pressure just right and that paint just right. You could do this all day long, right up to nice soft atomization. Big, back to small. Oh yeah, it's gonna be at least 70 years. Yeah. That's probably the second octopus skull I ever did. I think the first one I did is hanging in the Coast Airbrush. That's the big panel. Yeah, I know Michael was waiting for an octopus skull for a while. Willow, what are you doing? My dog's up here tonight. Wanna come say hi? Here. Those of you who've never met her, come up. Come here. Come. That's bowing. That's not up. Yeah, come. Up, say hi. Oh. Nope. Can we say hi? Yeah, nope. There she is. Willow! How far from Robert? Robert who? Yeah, she's up here hanging out. She usually hangs out here during the day. So I usually don't have her here during feeds because she starts walking around and tick, 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 tick. You can hear it. Oh, I don't know. I've never been to his house. I've never actually met him. Probably within 45 minutes to an hour. I think they're still around Merrimack, New Hampshire. I'm in Merrimack, Mass, which is About 45 minutes, I think, to an hour. How many pieces of mics do you have? I have one unsigned piece from Mike. But I know he did it, so. Actually, it's unfinished. It's one of his live feed pieces. No, but Merrimack, Mass, and Merrimack, New Hampshire are within, like I said, they're within an hour of each other. Just like Salem, Massachusetts and Salem, New Hampshire, about 45 minutes from each other, so on and so forth. They were really original about naming back then. And now it's just refinement. I think I'm pretty much good with my tones. Like, so I want this guy to be further back. See how they kind of all look a little bit one level? This is where I'll probably go back to more of the original Bordeaux. We'll make it a little bit more transparent. I'm just going to push some stuff back into the background. So watch, I'm going to push this whole, I'm going to cast a shadow from this one here, and this guy here. And you'll see, I'm going to come from the teeth, get some really dark there. I'm going to start pushing that guy back. And you start pushing that, because remember what's darker is further away. And that starts to push that skull further in the background. And you get that eyeball further back. Make sure that jaw, back jaw, looks further in the back. And you see how it just starts pushing and pulling? Nah, it's tough, man. I want to push this cheekbone further back, so just a little. darkness. See how that starts to push it? And you just start looking around the panel to see where you want the levels to push. So I want this guy to cast a little more shadow here. We're going to radius that a little bit. Because remember, when you clear it, things get brighter. So if you don't have enough contrast, a lot of this little line work will just go away. So shadow that eye a little bit more, let it look a little bit more around. Oh man, yeah. Oh, you got the Hellboy fridge? Ah, that's outstanding. That's one of my faves he did. Actually, one of my favorite he did, aside from the geisha one, which I think last time we knew, the geisha one ended up in Bill Gates' house, if I remember the story right. I love the Chinese dragon with all the water jet shelves, all the gold leaf in it. I have a fridge I started, I got primed and prepped and base coated, never painted it though. It's a 1943 Crosley Shelvador fridge. Used to a lot of my grandmother. And I was gonna do a big Star Wars theme, but yeah, the Hellboy fridge was one of my favorites. But I loved the Chinese dragon fridge. I think it was all done in oranges, like the base color. But the geisha one was really cool with the blue neon backlit. I'm sure the Hellboy one set you back a little bit. Or did you find a person that didn't really know what they had? You'll have to tell me that privately. You see a difference, like, 20 minutes make? This is half an hour of just doing some final details and picking. And you look at the beginning to now, how much different it is. And I love the Avatar fridge. The Avatar fridge is at Coast, and that is epically awesome. You know he would have done an Avatar 2 fridge if Mike was still with us. Yeah, if you go from the beginning to now, and it's really about contrast. It's really about just refining the details that you've already established. Like, you've already established tone, you've already started shape, you've already got all your bearings, and everything's there. Now it's that push-pull, shadow and depth, and then just, those little pick details. And this is the funnest part. This is where you can really just noodle in on the work. Because all your hard stuff's established. All the hard work's done. Now it's playtime. Look, I'm going to push that guy back a little bit. And this is where budget comes in, guys. So, if your customer wanted a whole bunch of skulls, but they only had budget X, you could have been done half an hour ago. If the budget's higher, and you're comfortable, and you're happy, and you want to do more work, now you can work another half an hour. It just depends where you want to lay. I will say one pro tip, and you want to listen to this. If you're going to do a whole bike like this, remember how I did the whole layout first, where everything was? Then I started bringing it all up and then did the final details. I usually do that for the whole bike. Because what happens is, you start at the front fender, and you do all this, and you get crazy amount of skulls and hundreds of details in there. You get to the back of the bike, and you realize the back of the bike is actually 3 times the front. So a tank and a fender, and sometimes a fairing, there was like, oh, that's big, that's a lot of the bike. The tank and the fender is like half, and the fairing are like half to a third of what the whole back of the bike is when you add saddlebags, lids, rear fender, side covers. Okay, so if you put 100 skulls on those front 3 pieces, in order to balance it, you're going to be putting almost 300 on the back, or 200 at least. So you got to plan. You got to see how you're gonna balance it out. So if you get overly crazy on the front, remember you got to match it through the bike. So plan accordingly. Agua. And just keep toning. And we are going to wrap this up. And then we're going to clean the airbrushes. I'll stick around and go through all that for those who feel like sticking around. And call it a weekend. We'll push them back to the background. Push that. And I love panels that you can flip over. Man, where can we sign this guy? Where can we sign this guy? Sorry. Right here. That was a little hard to read, so I think we're going to have to pen that one. My pen was a little too thin. Oh, I know what I'm going to do. Hold on a second. Let's erase that out. Better idea. I'm gonna try something I've never done. Like overtime. Leahy's here. Let's see if I can get this working. I did this a while ago. Nope, it dried up. I had a liquid mask and a pen. Nope. Nope. So we are going to do... We're going to just start it like normal, drop shadow it, and then we're going to clean some airbrushes. Everything can be fixed. We'll give you a little drop shadow on that signature. And voila! That is it. Done. Clean. I hope you dig it, Gary. It's going to look really cool all cleared up, especially in a high gloss. Gary loves high gloss. I always try to get him to go matte. I'm going to use this. Nope, I'm not going to use that. Doesn't line up anymore. He needs a heavier drop shadow. Cool. Awesome, awesome. All right. What I love about the Ultra Stand, this is done. I'm just gonna pick this guy up, move it aside. And do some cleaning. Let's do a little side by side. There we go. I need you. Airbrush time. Airbrush cleaning time. I used one. Yeah, I'm really aggravated because my holder, which usually pulls easy, they changed the size. It looks like they changed the size of the lip on this batch, and they catch more now. Yeah, it still kind of works, but not like it used to. Bench cleanup time. All right. I actually like these. I get these at Napa. They're like basically oil cleanup paper towels, like mechanics. They're basically cloth. Hey, what's up, John? What's going on? Thanks for popping in. Just finishing up painting. Just finished it. Now I'm gonna clean up. So we ended up not really using these guys at all. I think I used them for about 0.3 seconds. And I know someone's gonna say, well, I thought it was a total freehand project. You used the stencil. Well, dude, I used a skull reference for about 30 seconds. All right. The nice thing about having a bunch of paper towels in my trash barrel is all these paints are just gonna get dumped in there. See you later. And this is all I do, guys. I mean, I have airbrush cleaner. I typically use water first because it's the cheapest and the fastest. So I kind of have 3 spray bottles. Water, cleaner, and isopropyl alcohol. That's kind of all I use. So I'll usually flush out. Yeah, I'll usually flush it out first with water, and I usually do it right in the barrel or into the cleaning pot. But that gets about 90% of it out. We'll just put that in here. I don't do a total teardown cleaning, meaning like pulling everything out typically, but I'll do a decent cleaning here. Like, for me, a total is like pulling the air body out, pulling all the inners out, the seals. So what I usually do is I soak that. If I know I abused it and I haven't, like I didn't clean it last night, so it's been sitting for a while, I will pull the cap off. I love these removers, are awesome. You know, because I know this one's been through kind of hell. So I will take that out. But I'll make sure it's after, like, I've already flushed. Because one thing about an Eclipse is, let's see if I can get this camera down a little bit better. There we go. We'll zoom this in a little more. Better, 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 better. You know, so these guys are going to need some cleaning. But before I pull the needle, because this doesn't have, like when you're using a micron, if you pull the needle out, it's not as bad because you usually come through this vent and you won't get anything down here. If you pull the needle back on this and you still got paint in your brush, you gotta maybe get some down the air body. So I usually make sure I like flush through, and you can flush right through the cap. I usually just keep going right into the same bottle, the same little cup, and make sure everything's out of it. You can use cleaner if you want to use cleaner. The one thing a lot of people overlook, and I'm going to try to get this back out here. So I want this fluid nozzle. I don't know when Gabe used to run Art Tool and did a lot of product for Iwata. When they developed this, not developed, when they either picked this bottle that they used for it, I don't know if they realized it, but because the shape of this nozzle here, which these you can still get at like Hobby Lobby and stuff, the fluid nozzle just happens to sit perfectly in the center, and you can squirt right through. So look at the camera, look at that. It's perfect for flushing. So these squirt bottles, no matter what you use, the way this is shaped is perfect for the fluid nozzle. Hey, what's up, James? What's going on? Yeah, a little daytime overtime. Just finished up a painting. And I didn't finish last night, so now I'm just doing a cleanup, and I figured I'd just keep the cameras rolling. And I usually like to have a second airbrush, just so I can blow things out. Another little tip. You can get these at Hobby Lobby or craft stores. These little pointed Q-tips, these guys, these fit in here amazing to get like the sides clean. Love these little guys. And they get pretty much to the tip. They don't get the very end, but they get everything out. And so I got you. I'm going to take this off. You know, if you're using these side feeds, don't do what I did. I went like a couple months without cleaning this. And I got so much paint buildup in the threads that I didn't realize it, that I had to wrench it off so hard I actually broke the stem. Luckily, Iwata replaced it for me, but it's really not their fault that I basically had it glued together. So, Lindsay J, what are you up to these days? What are you painting? What are you working on? I said I figured I'd just stay on here, clean up, and shoot the shit. And say hi. Steve, why am I a cheater? Oh, is that because I used like a stencil for 35 seconds? In a 2-hour painting? There we go, good there. These also work great for like cleaning the dreaded inside the cap here. Just to get all that stuff clean. I'm dead to you. Good. About freaking time. God, that took forever. Love you, buddy. Oh, spilled. Well, I should probably use my Iwata cleaning mat, but my Iwata cleaning mat is filled with stuff. I should get another one. Actually, it's funny. So, like the new products I got, if you go to the store, and a lot of them haven't populated at the bottom yet, but I did one of those big mouse pad mats, like those desk mats, like 14 by 35. And my plan is to basically use that as my cleaning mat because there's that soft mouse pad material. Good there, good there. Now I'm going to pull the needle. Get that clean, make sure she's all good. And even this, actually, it works really good there, and it'll push right through. They make bigger sizes of these as well. These, like I said, these work great. Just to get, you know, see? I thought it was clean, but there's still a little junk inside. Good. Good. Air body goes on. I mean, fluid nozzle. Put the cap back on. Tighten that up. There we go. Now, what I should have done, and actually what I'm going to do, because when I do a pretty full clean like this, I do this almost every time. Just because it aids in the seal. I'll take a little of the beeswax, which Medea, they basically put out this isn't chapstick, this is beeswax, but you can use chapstick, but this is the I wanted beeswax in here. Works really good. Just put it on some threads. Thread her in. It's just going to help you make a better seal, which is going to mean the vacuum pulling paint out. It's just going to be that much better. Oopsie. What'd I miss? Hey, Mike. What's going on? Forgot to put the fluid nozzle back in. There we go. And here's the debate. To lube or not to lube? That is the question. With water-based, you really don't have to. And we've gone back and forth. There's a great debate about it. I do a lot of solvent work, so for solvent, the lube actually helps keep everything dry inside, so you don't have any of the harsh solvent sitting on your packing O-ring, especially if you have the rubber O-ring. And for me, if I happen to miss any paint, I usually put them away wet anyway. I'll have a little bit of the lube on just the needles where the needle hits the O-ring, and that kind of keeps things soft and keeps anything from backing up in it. And like I said, I usually put them away wet with a little reducer or thinner in it. Let me show you what I mean. Like, I use it so infrequently. I don't. Here we go. So yeah. So there's been debate about it. You don't have to use it. I like it, mainly because I do a lot of solvent work. But when I use this stuff, I'm not like gooping it on there. I literally just put a little on the needle itself, usually back here. Okay, that's it. I'll usually clean it, rub it up. That way, when it seats in, and it seats in on that packing O-ring, it just keeps a little moist. So if there happens to be any paint residue, it doesn't harden on the needle and make that harsh seal. I also do it if I'm not going to be painting for a while. And that way, it's kind of like a pinstriping brush. You never put a pinstriping brush away dry. You put oil on it, a preservative, or whatever. And when you're going to go paint with it, you wash it off first. So if you do use lubricant, like you're not going to be sitting for a while, just like actual guns and handguns, rifles, you don't put them away dry, right? Same thing with these. I like just a little bit in there, but I'm not telling you to flood it with all the parts. And I never put them inside the air body. That's my take on it. Agree, disagree? I don't care. Put her back together. And then I usually go through with just a final hit of isopropyl alcohol. Just to make sure. And now what that isopropyl just did, if I happen to get any lube too far up into that fluid nozzle, that just cleaned it off. It's gone. It really just left a little bit on the needle packing O-ring. And like I said, a lot of times I'll just put it away with a little bit of reducer and cleaner in it like that. And put it on my bench. And I'll usually put a piece of tape on it. When I come back a week later, there'll still be fluid in there and everything is still moist. That's about the most I clean, the most heavily extent I clean to. Unless a brush isn't working good. Then I pull the whole thing apart. Slides and everything, and air body, and like polish and clean everything. I do that once in a while. I think Steve calls that his spa day. We'll give it a Steve Leahy spa day. I think you need to do that episode, Steve, on like a Tech Tuesday or something, or like the Saturday spa day. No. Hey, man, thanks. Thank you so much. Much appreciated, Michael. Thank you. I did actually dirty up this airbrush. I never used it. But same thing. That just had black in it. Oh, you just did a spa day video? That's awesome, Michael. I just made minimum wage. At my $15 an hour. because it's 50 minutes ago. But see, this is why I put the lube. See this right here? I don't know if you can see it. I need to get one of Steve Lee's macro lenses. So if you look right here on the needle, you'll see this kind of heavy dark spot right there. That's where it sits against the O-ring. So even though, like, when I clean it, sometimes you still get this. No, it's not tax-free. That's all taken out before YouTube even pays me. So this happens a lot of times, and it gets really dry and hard. That's where you get that, like, tough pull. That's why I put a little lube there. Just so after I put it away, it's clean. It just keeps that from happening. Like, I haven't been doing it, and that's why this happens. And, you know, this will eventually, you start cleaning it, you end up, like, kind of wearing away at it. So like I said, that's why I usually put just a little bit on that part. And it doesn't mess your paint jobs up. Anyone who's thinking that messes your solvent jobs up is wrong. I've been doing this for 30-something years and painted some of the biggest show cars and show bikes and artwork. And if that was going to mess it up, I would have been screwed a long time ago. Just saying. And this, yeah, so just a quick clean. I can pull this off if I want. This one hasn't been off in a bit. This brush is pretty funky, pretty dirty. And here Willow making grumpy noises over there. She's mad. She wants to go outside. Yeah, man, I live in Massachusetts. They will tax anything they can, and they do. And they do. See, that spray bottle's perfect. The nozzle fits right there. That is the one awesome benefit to the Medea spray bottle. Which, look, Hobby Lobby, $6.99. And it comes with cleaner. Isopropyl alcohol, that'll rip off the heavy stuff. And that gun's clean enough. On my lunch break and just saw this. If you come back and watch. Thanks, Donnie, for popping in. Yeah, I just did an afternoon feed called Overtime. I didn't finish the painting last night, so I finished that up. And now I'm just cleaning the brushes, so I figured I'd let the cameras roll and do it. Got an open Q&A. Yeah, Gary, exactly. So this is what happens after most feeds. One day I should do one, and maybe I'll do this like if I do members. I'll do a single camera and start it like a half an hour before the feed so people can see all the crap that goes into it. No, this is just 70% isopropyl. Sometimes I mix with water, but usually I just use it straight at the end. Good. And this guy. I'm going to clean this guy. Do you know why I'm going to clean this guy? Because I picked it up last night and went, oh, crap. I used this when I started the Iwo Jima feed, which was 2 weeks ago, and realized that it was nasty. So let's see how nasty this really is here. I just basically uncapped it last night and just threw some isopropyl in it. Oh yeah, there's some paint in here. Oh yeah, look at that. Isn't that awesome? Yummy. Time to get the slop brush out. And basically, yeah, look at that. This is called Neglect People. That's paint that sat and dried for 2 weeks. Luckily, it's an Eclipse and not a Micron. Those will The nice thing about the Eclipse is the nozzle's so big it'll probably still spray. Yeah, let's get a fresh cup here. Oh yeah, she's gnarly. Look, it does look like crude oil, man. Look, there's still more. There's still more. Oh, look at that. This is neglect, people. I do it. It's like one of those YouTube things. Why does my airbrush not spray right? And that's probably why. Sometimes. Alright, yeah, she's junk. Alright. Nozzle cap off. Scotty, thanks for popping in. Yeah, this is all going. This all may have to go. Let's see. Let's see what's in the fluid nozzle. Gotta get him. Q-tip. I mean, Q-tip. It's still wet in here, so that's good. Now I'm gonna do the trick I learned from damn it. Just dropped it. From my Iwata. Help me out. Test every airbrush. Damn it. So basically, I'm taking a toothpick. I'm going to shave it. Super fine. I think I've seen Leahy do this before too, possibly. Why can't I think of... Shoot. Can't think of his name. I feel like a tool. Basically, I'm going to make it super sharp. Take the fluid nozzle. And now I can push all the way through any junk. Not got anything out. And here's another trick. Full of tricks today. Down and Dirty Tricks Day. I found these. I forget who recommended them. Someone recommended them online a while ago. I got paint in my glasses. Absorbent paper points. They go from a 1.5 to a 4.0. These are excellent. So here's a 0.35 for a 0.35 needle and nozzle. No, I'm just doing the guns that are dirty. So I use those two guns. This one been sitting around, so I've just used that one. So this one, it's actually tapered like a point. So these little absorbent points are great. There's 200 of them. I'll have to find a link for these for future posting. I don't like... the only pipe cleaners I use... I'll use these guys, like these metal ones. You know, these guys I'll use. I never use like the cotton pipe ones, like actual like tobacco pipe cleaners, because they tend to leave fabric inside. All right, let's take this crime scene and freshen it up so we can see. And we're gonna make this airbrush. Yeah, that was what was in it for those just joining. Yeah, I use those sometimes, not all the time. Like I said, I haven't pulled the needle out of this yet because there's still a bunch of crud in here. And I'm going to get that flushed out. There we go. There's still a lot of junk in the bowl, but there's nothing liquid anymore. But see, the needle still came out, but see where it's all dried against that? There's all that dark spot where it's dried. That's where it sits against the needle packing O-ring. So we're going to make sure we clean that good. And if you don't have a good seal, that's where it'll leak back into your air body. You don't want that to happen. Let's go back to the side by side. There we go. So she's looking a little better. So thanks for hanging out, guys. Just shows that at least 13 people have nothing to do today. Oh, so dental tools are great. Yeah, I have a few like odd tools that I pull out. You know, I do like those dental, like Dentec dental pick things. You have the ones with a little brush. Yeah, I don't think I have any up here right now. No. Oh yeah. These guys. I love these guys too. These things are great. These are really good for the fluid nozzles as well, because you'll get about 90% through. You just won't get through the very end. Oh look, still stuff in there. Haha, good thing I used it. Thank you, sir, for reminding me. Thanks, Gary. I'll keep you posted on the panel. Cool. Cool. And what I like about these is you can bend them. You can get inside and and pick all that junk out. Look at that. Still more junk in there. Yeah, this brush is a mess. I missed out the video in that hassle. Yep. So we're just doing cleanup now, friends. You know, we did about, I think, 35 minutes or so. We painted and finished up that painting. I'll bring it back up here in a sec. Now we're just going through cleanup. And because this was so bad, I am going to pull this all out and check it. I'm going to pull the body out. And there's no paint on there, so that's good. I'll pull the trigger, just give it a wipe, make sure. And the only reason I'm doing that is so I can get down here and I can actually clean out and make sure we're all good. Yep, see, there's still little remnants, but this gets all the way down to the packing O-ring, which is great. All right, I'll put this back together. I'll try to clean that needle off a little better. And if my needle's bent, I'd break out the sharpener right now. I'll have to do a little thing on that one day. Dude, I never really soak the body unless it's really effed up. If I do, if you're going to soak the body, make sure you take the air body apart, and I'll usually pull the rubber seals out, because there are rubber seals in here. There's a Teflon O-ring here, there's no rubber, but here you do have rubber O-rings. So if I am going to soak the body, if it really got that bad, and I have done it before, I'm going to make sure I pull all the internals out of here, and I'll use the toolkit for that and get all that stuff out. But that's a rarity. I'm going to put the old trigger pin back in. Some people complain about that, but it's easy. Just drop it in. Now we're good here. Now we're good here. Again, just a little bit, just to keep it. Oh, we still got some junk on there. There we go. You know, sometimes you pull the needle through a few times, and it's just like gun cleaning. Just push it through, pull it out the other side, make sure it comes out clean. There we go. Fluid nozzle back in. I'm listening to you on my phone. I am wet sanding and buffing. That is work, man. That's probably the most work part of custom painting, aside from body work, is the wet sanding and buffing. But that just means you're finishing a job and about to get paid. We're good. Oh, I forgot to do it again. Gonna pull that off. Put a little beeswax on it. What are you buffing? What are you wet sanding? Car, bike, project? Cool. Now just make sure we're spraying good. Not too shabby, I think. I feel a little restriction coming from inside the air cap. Make sure that's cleaned out. We're good to go. Anything more than that, I'd probably replace. If I have any issues with this gun after this, I'll replace the fluid nozzle, but it's all good now. And that, kids, is a messy day of cleanup. Good to go. Clean up the bench. Put stuff away. Now I can set up for the tabletop stuff, which is the next thing I'm going to be working on. So I'll probably do that on Tuesday. A little tabletop Tuesday might be the plan. And I'll kind of show you what that looks like. This is all junk, junk, junk. Yeah, please hit that like, hit that share button. I want 9,000 subscribers soon. I want 10,000 by the end of the year. So I need your help. I gotta figure how to do. If anyone on YouTube has done it, wants to give me any pointers, maybe I'll talk to Mike from Mike's Brush. I want to do a couple giveaways, but I know there's a couple specific ways you have to do them on YouTube. So I'd love some pointers. I want to get some guys involved, maybe do some airbrush giveaways and some stuff like that when I hit 10,000, or maybe a painting giveaway. So cleaning up, putting the tools away, and then I'll show you the tabletop area that's coming. So what I've done is I made this bench so I can go from illustration to doing miniature painting. So let me show you that while working on. So basically, all my miniature stuff docks right in like this on this whole thing. And basically, it's like changing the stage. This is some of the next stuff we're going to be working on. It even has, because every YouTube channel has to have it, RGB lighting. And this is what we're going to be working on next. There's some of these miniatures. These are some Star Wars miniatures. This is Warhammer miniatures I'm going to be doing that I've gotten prepped. This little guy here. Whoop, there he goes. Got this cool demon. So there's some stuff that's coming up. Probably do that next week. But yeah, so everything kind of docks into this kind of like docking station. Yeah, and I'll go full screen so you can see it. There we go, there. Yep, and everything's right there. So it's all done out of MDF. And basically everything I have for Mini is right here. And that just slides into position. So I take my Visionaire system off and go from there. And that's pretty much it, guys. We are ready to cap things off and end the day. Hope you all have an awesome weekend. Thank you for popping in. Michael, thank you for the super chat. That is appreciated. And I will see you all at least next Thursday, but I think I'm going to try to do Tabletop Tuesday if I can do that. I don't know the time yet, but we will figure it out. Have a great weekend, everyone. Thanks for popping in on a Friday overtime edition. See ya.